Today's episode of This Week in Startups is brought to you by InVision. Find out why so many hot startups are using InVision to prototype, present, and collaborate on design in real time. Sign up for a free 90-day trial at invisionapp.com/twist. And by Wistia. Take control of your video marketing with powerful tools and analytics built specifically for business. Go to wistia.com/twist to get your free Wistia account today. And by AWS Activate, the Amazon Web Services Startup Program. It's easy to start and scale your business with AWS. Visit aws.amazon.com/activate.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Calacanis. Today on This Week in Startups, the founder of Producthunt, which is Reddit for new products and services. It's taking Silicon Valley by storm. Everybody's talking about it. And interestingly enough, the founder is a super fan who's been watching This Week in Startups since episode 1. And just in the last month, his site has gone completely viral. It's an amazing story. He's a great entrepreneur and a super fan of the show. What more do you need to know? Stick around. It's going to be an amazing episode.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah, money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah, we ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in Startups. This is the program where we talk about startup companies. It's in the name. If you don't understand why we're here, my God, can I even help you? No, seriously. This Week in Startups has been a show that we've been doing for 5 wonderful years, twice a week, 400 plus episodes, and we talk to a founder, we talk to a venture capitalist, we talk to journalists about the technology space, and we all level up and learn together about entrepreneurship, startups, venture capital, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I'm super excited for today's show because on today's show is a young man. I can call you a young man, right?
Yeah, that's all right. I'm young.
Young man,
yeah.
A young man. I'm getting old. There's a whippersnapper on the program, see? A young man who was a super fan of this very podcast in year 1.
Day zero.
Day zero.
Yeah.
Ryan Hoover, who is with Producthunt, which is doing phenomenal. We're going to get to that. You started listening to the show literally in the first Brian Alvey or Matt Coffin or Sky Dayton episodes, like my really close friends being on the show.
Yeah, so some people watch, back when I was a kid, you watch Saturday cartoons. For some reason, my habit is TWiST in the morning on Saturday. So breakfast and TWiST Saturdays, that's my thing.
That's great. So Lucky Charms or what? Fruit Loops?
Yogurt,
yogurt?
something more healthy.
Something a little more healthy. And so how old are you, by the way?
27.
You're 27.
Yeah.
So you've been listening to the show for 5 years. So when you graduated from school, you started listening to the program.
Yep.
And you actually joined the TWiST list, which in the beginning days of the program, we didn't really have advertising. So we said, hey, if anybody wants to pay $5 a month to be on an email list, put in your PayPal and sign up and join the list.
Yep.
And we created a Google group. And I don't know how many of us were on the list initially. It was 20 or 30 people.
Yeah, and then you start increasing the price, right?
We could increase the price. We had like a $100 a month option, all this kind of stuff. And we're like, hey, well, this could work. This could. And we had watched Adam Curry do it with No Agenda. I think he was pretty awesome at getting people to sort of be involved. And this sort of super fan concept emerged, and we would all hang out on a mailing list and talk about the episodes and talk about startups. Now, you, whatever, 3 or 4 years later, you and I have become friends, but I think this is the first time we've met in person, or did you ever come to a live show?
I've not been to a live
you.
show. We've probably interacted very briefly at one of your conferences,
Oh,
so
the
at
Launch
Launch or
Festival,
something
yeah.
like that. So,
So we've known each other for a long time, and then suddenly this year, everybody starts talking about Ryan from Producthunt. And 4 years after joining the TWiST list and watching all these entrepreneurs in the program, you started Producthunt. And explain to people what it is. I have it up on my screen, so you guys can pull it up on my screen here, and Ryan can tell us what we're looking at here. So I'm on the site. What are people looking at?
So if you want to use the X or Y, it's kind of like a hacker news for products is how I describe it. And
Hacker news for products.
Yeah.
And if you're not aware of what hacker news is.
Yes, so if you're not aware of Hacker News, it's really a place where people in the community submit links to new products. So it could be a mobile app, a website, any kind of new product or launch. And then inside of the community, you have people upvoting the best stuff, just like they do on Reddit or Hacker News or Dig back in the day.
Right.
And along with that, you see the founders actually jumping into the comments. So there's a comment on each of these products as well. So you see founders doing sort of AMAs, answering questions, and interacting with the people. So
here, Uber Wedding, I don't know what this is. Say I do with Uber, 2 comments. Oh, I do know what this is. Travis told me about this.
yes.
So Uber is doing weddings, and they're basically, you're going to request a wedding in Uber. This is not a joke, by the way, folks.
Yeah, those were the tweets that came out. It's not a joke.
It's literally not a joke. And you'll get, I guess, champagne from Iron Horse and Susie cakes. And they have all these partners, I guess Hotel Tonight and all that kind of stuff. And you can sign up. And, they're going to officiate it. And you say, I do, and all this stuff. A violin's going to play. And I actually know there's a secret. I can't say, because it doesn't say, it's not listed here. Oh, look at that. Alaska Airlines are doing flights or whatever to your honeymoon. There's a special person who will be doing the officiating at these.
Ooh.
I heard a
Okay.
rumor. I'm going to leave it at that. So this feature comes out, and so the folks over at Producthunt, somebody submitted it. I guess is the picture, George,
Yes.
from
yes.
README.io. And so he feels pretty good about himself, and then people just talk about it.
Yeah, so and you can tell that, this isn't like a big product launch. So you see things from big product launches to big kind of feature updates. This is probably one of the less substantial like submissions, you could say. But people like to talk about this type of stuff. You see it on Twitter, you see it elsewhere. People converse about these kind of like product things.
Right, so you might actually have something, like SoundCloud for iOS has a new version out.
Yeah.
And so here, now you're going to have a more substantive discussion of what did they add, why it's important. So these are all
Yeah.
product people. And then if you look, I recognize some of the product people here, and I know Hunter Walks on here every day.
Yeah.
The VC who's from Homebrew, who was on the show. So how did you have the idea for this?
So it was inspired initially by just my conversations with friends of mine and founders, and especially in San Francisco, more than anything, we talk about products and launches and things like that. So a lot of times we talk about, did you see Yo? Well, I'd love to talk about Yo with you later. But did you see Yo? Like, what do you think about it?
Yeah.
Like, what's on your home screen? Those type of things. So people like to talk about products, and I didn't know or find a place online to kind of talk about products or find products in like a curated way. You see it on Hacker News, you see it on Twitter, you see it in the tech press.
But there's tons of noise.
Yeah, it's disparate, and furthermore, it's you don't get a chance to talk to the founders or kind of the people directly, which is what Producthunt provides. Like the founders love to come on, and surprisingly, they like to talk about themselves. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also if it's people who have ideas about the product and they've self-selected into a group who's obsessive about product,
Yeah.
boy, does that get interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, actually, so there's some really interesting conversations that come out of Producthunt some days. One of them that comes to mind was there's something called Insta-Nerd, which is a very simple product that some guy made. It's just a fun project. And it's a simple like flashcard of different interesting facts, like did you know polar bears can smell like 32 miles away, and just stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And what was fascinating is the people in the community started...
It's called what again?
Insta-Nerd. If you search for it on the site, it'll come up.
Insta-Nerd.
Insta-Nerd, yeah. And what was fun about that is people started contributing ideas on how to improve it. And he was interacting, and that same day he was improving his product and adding better sharing functionality, like moving things above the fold. And it was great to see him actually like take that feedback.
Because here, look, I'm pulling it up on my screen. This is an essential site for anybody. In situations when you can't use the bathroom, I guess that highlighting is like a key thing. You can hold your pee in. You can hold your pee with crossing your legs while standing. This I never knew.
Yeah.
This helps you compressing the urethra and surrounding tissues. Don't cross your legs when sitting. Doing this or any other position that causes pressure of the bladder can result in pain or possible loss of bladder control. You will piss yourself.
Yeah, this is important stuff. This is what you get on Producthunt.
I'm ready to tweet this. I don't know. Honestly, I think everybody, the 100,000 people who are going to hear this episode, are never going to cross their legs in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
In hour 3 of the Avengers,
but there's actually a product called RunPee. Search RunPee.
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 This was I think it was on last week.
I know this.
Yes.
Explain what a RunPee is.
So RunPee is, it's a database of information on when you should take a pee when you're watching a movie. So when is going to be slow, when is going to be boring, when can you escape and go to the restroom in the theater.
This is the most important thing for me because I'm a huge cinephile,
Yeah.
and I'm also a fan of the largest possible Coke Zero size.
Yeah.
And I do it to myself every time.
That's just-
I'm a 43-year-old man who can't order a small.
Yeah.
That's what it's come down to. I literally do this every time. I'm watching X-Men, and I love X-Men. I can't possibly go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
and now I have a solution.
See, there you go. Life
Okay,
changing.
let's keep going. Give us another life-changing, P-related startup from
P-related?
Producthunt. Yes, only P-related.
You know, let me think here. I'm trying to think of. So you.
No, I'm joking. It had to be P-related.
Did you invested in HandUp, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, search HandUp. This was posted a long time ago because I think they launched. I don't know how
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah,
maybe a year.
I'm an investor.
But there. So we just talked about a couple like kind of silly,
Direct
kind of
giving
fun
to the
things.
homeless. Yeah.
And HandUp, is a little bit more meaningful in terms of like
What
it's
if
trying to
somebody
do.
puts something twice? It's 2 threads, right? So it's sort of like a blog. So if HandUp
Yeah.
2.0 goes up,
That's a good question.
it's not HandUp 1, right?
Right. I get that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's hard to define what is a significant update to warrant a new post.
Well,
So if
somebody
it's-
submits it.
If someone submits it right now, it will, if the same URL is used, it just won't let them. But if it's some significant update, like Snapchat, when it released Snapchat Chat, that was actually a fascinating conversation, and that's something people want to talk about. But if it's someone releasing some small feature update, it's like, why? That's not meaningful enough.
And the crowd's not going to vote it up, so it
Right.
just disappears at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, how
Yeah.
many things don't make the list? Does everything make the list right now, or does it cut off at 50? Or
Yeah.
like, what if I want to see everything? Is there a new page or like a
Yeah.
submitted page?
So right now, we limit who can actually post. And so about 1 to 2% of the monthly visitors can actually submit products right now. So that's really, it's a function of just the limitations of the technology. Because right now, when you post something, it goes to the homepage. We don't have a new and a hot page like Hacker News does or like Reddit does.
Yes, there's no way to separate those out and not worry
Yeah.
about spamming.
Yeah. Now we do have ways to make sure that things that don't get love basically fall down and they just get hidden ultimately. But over time we need to figure out what the right algorithm is, how do we
Yeah.
expand the community and all that.
Yeah, so here, there's a great thing where you actually put a link to the YouTube interview with Rose, and it's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's awesome. And that was in the early days. That was in December when you launched this. So I'm looking at this. It seems like an elegantly simple product, which is to say, why didn't somebody build this before? Because I mean, is there something called Startup List or something, where they just list a startup every day or something?
Yeah, actually no, Nick who does Startup List, there's Beta List, which there's similarities.
Right. But they're not
Yeah.
products. Like you're specifically saying these are products, not startup lists.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is incredibly elegant and simple. How long did it take you to build this, and what's the traffic like now? Because
Yeah.
I understand it just went viral this week.
Yeah. So it actually started off as an email list in the beginning. So when I had this idea that, okay, I want to find a place to have my friends share cool new products that we can talk about maybe later on, how can I do that easily and quickly? And so I created an email list using something called Linky, which is like this collaborative kind of email platform where you invite people that can contribute. Each day those links get broadcasted and emailed to the group. And so we started with that, and people seemed to like it. I got a couple hundred subscribers. People emailed me, and they came up to me and said, that Producthunt email is cool, I enjoy it. And it was really that kind of inspiration is what I realized, okay, maybe this is actually like an opportunity here. Maybe more and more people will like this. So how do I build something into a product that can have more engagement? Because you can't talk with people through email,
Right.
So I reach out to...
Well, you can talk to one, but it's very hard to talk to a group. It
Right.
quickly becomes madness.
Exactly. So I reached out to a few people. One of them was a friend of mine, Nathan Bashaw, and this was shortly before Thanksgiving, actually. And I said, I'm not an engineer, first off. So I asked him, how can I build this easily? Like, what would you recommend?
What is it that you do? What is your skill? You're just an entrepreneur? Like you're an idea guy like me?
Idea guy, yeah.
Product?
Yeah, I mean, my professional background is product management.
Yeah, so
So
that's me
it's one of those like vague roles where you do a lot of different things.
Yeah. You make sure the product actually comes to fruition.
Yeah.
Like it actually is good.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
the chief good officer. Like, make this shit good. All right, when we get back from commercial break, I want to hear about how this went viral and what the extent of the traffic is when we get back from this important message. Yes. About 2 months ago, I said to my people, I need to get the prototypes of Inside.com 2.0 on my phone so I can see what the product looks like on my phone. And so, magically, somebody sends me an Envision link, and I'm clicking on it, and it feels just like the app. And I'm like, wow, this is great. My designer sent me something. And then I said, I need to take notes. I need to put notes in here. I need to share with you my thoughts on that. And then I start using Envision on my desktop. And it is wonderful. I see all the different versions, and then I click and I put a note. And it's not just that I get to put a note. My designer and my CTO put follow-up comments to clarify my note. And then I was like, oh my God, the new Inside 2.0 homepage has too many notes on it. Aren't half of these resolved? And then I see there's a resolve button. And so ding, 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 we start resolving all the issues on the Insight 2.0 homepage, and boom, we're like got the product done, it's being launched, and everything's perfect. I could not do this without InVision. It is amazing. And people like Adobe, eBay, Zappos, Airbnb, Evernote, Box, and Zendesk agree with me that it's fabulous. The plan is, the starter plan is free for 90 days. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. InVision understands, InVisionApp.com, by the way, they understand that they're going to win you over because it's not super expensive. It's super affordable. And I will never build a startup without this product again. I literally have an entire screen on my iPhone, which I'm flipping through right now. And what do you see there? Huh? Look, producer Janet, how many ins do you see? It's just all ins. It's all ins. It's all InVision. Those are all people sending me different designs, and I keep them on my phone because I like seeing the old designs. And then I show them to my board and investors and whatever, or friends of mine. I'm like, hey, David Sachs, look at this design. What do you think of this design? He gives me notes. It's an incredible product, and I'm super enthusiastic about it. And then, of course, like some of the products that I use I'm enthusiastic about, they come on and they support my program here, This Week in Startups, which, of course, all of us learn so much with these great startup interviews and VC interviews and all kinds of stuff that we do here. Anyway, InVisionApp.com/twist, InVisionApp.com/twist. Go ahead and sign up. You can have unlimited screens, collaboratives, real-time comments, sketch commenting, and more. It works brilliantly. The prototyping is brilliant, and it works for your board or investors too. So InVision, 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 Vision, InVisionApp.com/twist. Thanks again to the team at InVision for making a beautiful product and for supporting This Week in Startups. Let's get back to this very important episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to This Week in Startups. My guest today, Ryan Hoover of Producthunt. If you don't know Producthunt, go to producthunt.com, or it's a good domain name too. It was available, $8.
You know, it was .co before, and I bought it for $3,000.
Oh, okay. So that guy made a nice little profit.
Yeah, $3,000 is a good deal for me.
Follow follow Producthunt, and you can follow R Hoover on Twitter. And he's got a big, huge smile in his Twitter avatar. I know because you and I tweet back and forth constantly.
That picture, by the way, it's like a 5-year-old picture. I'm not changing it. So
no, never. My picture of me with the puppies is like 7 or 8 years old. They were puppies. So
yeah.
Taurus and Fondue are now 8 years old. So it's an
Yeah.
8-year-old photo. I'm never changing it.
Yeah.
Perez Hilton just flirted with me on. He's like, your avatar is so cute. The puppies and you. And I was like,
You should have him on the guest.
Perez.
Yeah.
Perez and I are old friends from the old days, but it was kind of cute that he was flirting with me on Twitter. I thought it was nice. So it went viral, which is everybody's dream. You had Mark Andreessen reply to you the other day. That had to be like a huge...
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool, dude. That
was
Mark
cool.
Andreessen knows who you are.
Well, he was sending me pictures. That was even more fun.
Yeah, he was sending you like the hater pictures.
Yeah.
You guys were having fun. Or I should say his ghostwriter. Or him.
Ghost tweeter?
He's got to have a ghost tweeter, right?
don't
The dude is
know.
so busy. If Mark Andreessen is really doing all those tweets, I'm super worried about the LPs of A16Z, or I'm not. I don't know. Maybe this is the way they get all their deal flow. Maybe this is Mark Andreessen tweeting for 5 or 6 hours a day the best use of Mark Andreessen's time?
I don't know.
It might be.
He gets...
Right? Because all these entrepreneurs know, like, they're sort of playing with him on Twitter, and maybe that gets more deal flow for...
Twitter is amazing. Twitter is such a good way to interact, and, like, first meet people, but then keep interaction and engagement and build a relationship over time.
Absolutely.
It's so much more scalable than in-person meetings. So,
Absolutely. Like,
obviously, he doesn't need to do that, but...
Yeah, but I mean, even for him, it keeps him in contact with people like you who are,
Yeah.
Journalists are constantly asking him questions. He's writing about it. Very good point.
Yeah.
And Hunter Walk has become obsessed with it.
Yeah. He seems to. What's funny is he seems to post at night all the time, which I've
he's
joked
got
around.
kids and a
Yeah.
life, and he's busy.
Yeah, but it's not the best time to post new products at night. It's when everyone's like sleeping and.
It's all right. They see it tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it falls off.
It falls off. That's why I tell him.
Oh, I see. He
So-
puts it on 11. Oh, you got to have that's the next feature you got to do on
Well,
your product. It's got to be a roll.
We've talked about that. Yeah.
You got to roll it. It's got to be like, if something has this many votes, it gets the velocity into tomorrow, or
I do that behind the
24-hour
scenes. If it's a good thing, I'll
you'll
bump
trip it over to the next day.
Yeah.
So how much did it cost for you to build this? $3,000 for the
The domain.
domain.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so we're down 3 dimes.
Yeah.
Right? What's the rest?
So Nathan, again, my friend, this is Thanksgiving, and I reached out to him, and I'm like, how can we build something easy? Something get something out there quick.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I have some time. I'll be at my parents' house. why don't I just work on it with you?
Yeah.
And he's super talented, super fast. So it was about 5 days that we had that first version out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, we were just collaborating on it, and didn't cost any money. And in terms of like the actual hardware costs, and we're paying for Roku, I don't know, at the time, maybe $100,
Yeah,
$150. So,
now you've moved to Amazon, I take it.
No, we're still on Roku.
Well, that gets expensive when it gets popular, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's manageable. It's not terrible right now.
Yeah.
So.
Although when it started hitting traffic, they charge 10 times as much as Amazon, right?
Yeah, it'll grow.
So you got 30,000 emails subscribed. That's
Yeah.
extraordinary.
Yeah.
How many of those are from the last 30 days?
Ooh, good question. Probably 12,000.
Okay, wow. So you're
12
really
to
like,
15,000.
what was it that happened that made it go viral this past month? Because you've been working on it November, December, January, February,
Yeah.
March, April, May. Boom, May or June, something happened.
Yeah.
What was it?
So press is good. Press is a good acquisition source. And
Yeah.
right now, Producthunt, we actually were pulling a list of all the reporters, all the tech reporters, and I think there are around 150 subscribed or using Producthunt. So we have reporters using it to find products to write about, and they're constantly reading the emails and visiting the site. And so Producthunt for them is useful and valuable. So when that happens, it makes it a lot easier for them, and really, without even me trying, they want to write about Producthunt. So
they mention, I found this on Producthunt, or they don't?
we've had a few of those, yeah, like Lifehacker's side of this, TechCrunch's side of this 3 or 4 times. And then I've just built relationships with some of these reporters as well, and reaching out to them, at the end of the day, if I can just help them, then they're going to help me ultimately.
Got
But we had a TechCrunch article, and then we had a few others.
I saw
in the next
TechCrunch article,
web. Yeah. Business Insider last week or the week before.
So you spent no money on it. It's getting thousands of people a day come visit it, I take it?
Yeah.
Tens of thousands?
It's over 10,000 on a weekday.
Really?
Yeah.
Visits, but how many uniques? Couple thousand or 10,000 uniques? Or?
Probably around
incredible.
6 to 8.
Wow, it's great.
Yeah.
So this is and these are very, very high value targets.
Yeah.
And so the monetization,
Yeah.
you must be thinking about that, because those 30,000, I'll tell you, those 30,000 emails, I'm a big fan of emails, as you know,
Yeah.
MailChimp, et cetera. Mandrill,
Nice plug.
those emails are worth, I would say, $5 each if you were to try to acquire them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a person interested in product, if you bought clicks on, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, to try to acquire them, so you got like $150,000 in value just in the mailing list right now.
Yeah. Mailing list is I love email too.
Are you putting ads in the thing, or what's the? I mean, I would buy an ad in it, like, hey, tell me what you think about
Okay.
Inside 2.0.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll put Inside 2.0 on when it comes out next week or this weekend, and just ask for feedback on what people think. It'd be great to get brutalized and do a Ask Me Anything.
Do
but
it.
of course, you could probably get great ideas. But is there some way to feature your thing and be like, hey, I've got Inside 2.0. I'm really looking for feedback, featured placement, where I could say, here's what I'm looking for. I really would love to find a new designer, or maybe I'm looking for feedback or ideas, and I pay you for placement on the homepage?
Yeah. So right now we are making some money with job postings, which is just we have a jobs page, but we also in the email promote jobs.
Got it.
And part of that is one, it's easy. There's no technology. It's just me in the morning typing and adding that job posting. And it also doesn't devalue or risk kind of the authenticity of product promotions. That said, longer term product promotions make a lot of sense, and I think there are ways we can do that where it makes smart, where it's a good user experience.
Yeah.
Like if Inside 2.0, let's say it launches, you put it on there, get some love, and then a month later you're like, I want to promote Inside 2.0. Why not promote it to the people that loved it? Like, why not show it to the community again?
Yeah, show it to them again. Yeah,
Yeah.
just give me some feedback, or maybe show a mock-up. Hey, this is what I would like to do. I would like to show here's a thing we're trying. Anybody have feedback on this? Because I have some ideas because you know me, I'm a product guy. I would like to just work with my designer and say, hey, I have an idea. They mock it up, I put it here, and I get feedback. Or I could put it here and get feedback from 1,000 people confidentially.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God,
So
that'd be juicy.
what I did, I've been trying to be as transparent as I can with Producthunt, and one of the things that we've been doing is I've been sharing mock-ups of things that we've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was a mock-up of the homepage, and I emailed it out to, at the time, maybe 22,000 people, and it was using InVision, so people could put annotations
Love
on it.
InVision.
It's great. InVision's awesome.
My whole phone is literally 3 screens of InVision.
Oh, yeah?
And I love this product so much. And then they decided they were going to sponsor This Week in Startups. And I'm like, you're kidding.
Oh, I didn't know they were sponsoring.
Literally, they just started this week or something. They might even be a sponsor of
didn't
this
even plan
episode. But I don't know who's the sponsor of this episode in particular right now, but at this very moment. But what a great product,
Yeah,
right?
it's great.
InVision is just, why do you love that?
So I emailed this out, mock-ups of the homepage, and within 24 hours, I got 300 comments. 300 people.
In InVision or on your site?
On InVision of the mock-up.
Oh,
that
you
we
can
were
do
sharing.
a public InVision and let anybody comment? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was amazing. So
I'm going to start doing that.
do it. It's fun. I spent the 3 hours in the morning after I submitted it, just responding to feedback. Some of it, of course, we're not going to take, and then there were 5 to 6 very important pieces of feedback and things that we changed in the design because of that. And so yeah, I think there's an opportunity for Producthunt to be a source for founders or people to get feedback from an audience that really cares and really wants to give something useful feedback.
So what do you think? So you raised no money for this?
I have not announced anything yet.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you may raise a round or something.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That might be interesting. What, did you call Uncle Jason yet, or what's going on? Really? Okay. So what are we talking about here? How much are we pay? About $500,000? you're gonna pay for
I
this?
can't disclose it yet.
Oh, right. No, you
unfortunately.
don't want to trigger anything. Is it on AngelList?
No.
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 Oh.
No. I have a profile on there, but there's nothing
No.
there.
Is it closed?
Yeah.
Still room for Jason?
Yeah, I think it's closed.
No room for Jason?
I know.
Uncle Jason, no room? Oh,
Gonna
Hunter
peer pressure me
Walk.
on the
Shame
show.
on you, Hunter Walk. You're supposed to. I'm going to guess Hunter Walk because he can't stop talking
Oh,
about
that's
it.
funny. I'm doing a podcast with him tomorrow, so I'm gonna.
Oh, that's when
Yeah.
you're going to announce. Well, this doesn't
No,
matter because
no.
this show is going to be on after that. So, well, that's great. So you have a possibility to raise money for it, obviously. So let's just say, hypothetically, if you were possibly able to raise money from the 2 or 3 VCs who can't shut up about it on Twitter, what would you do with the money? How do you take this to the next level, and what do you think?
Yeah. So again, I'm not an engineer, and even if I was, I couldn't do everything I'm doing now
Yeah.
and build it. So there's some things we want to do to the product itself and improve it. And I'm now working with 4 part-time developers, very part-time designer, and also someone on the community and marketing side. So it's not just me on Producthunt, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
So getting some more development help, maybe making an app or something. This would be great if it was a
We-
native
yeah.
app. It's
Yeah.
not a native app, right? It's just a responsive website.
Yeah. We're working on an iOS app right now, so might be ready in 4 weeks, 5 weeks,
Huh.
maybe. So
Cool.
Yeah.
So when you look at product today, what do you think is the key to making great products? Because you're sitting here obsessing about everybody's products. Is there a theme that you could tell the listeners that you think in 2014 going into 2015 is what really constitutes great product design when we get back from these very important messages? Yes, Wistia. What do I need to say? If you go to thisweekinstartups.com, you will see a big, beautiful Wistia video player. How did I get to the point where I wanted to have the Wistia video player? Very simple. I was tired of using other free services that used every square goddamn inch of my real estate from my program that I spent all this money creating and all my effort to promote Gangnam Style and other videos that have nothing to do with me. I don't need some other service, YouTube, taking all my screen real estate and then putting it for their own purposes. That's fine, I understand that. But I'm grown up now. I'm a business. I'm doing business here. I don't need to use a free service. I'm willing to pay a little bit every month to have complete control over my video player, which includes, by the way, collecting email addresses of my superfans who want to know when I'm in town or doing a live show. And every week, every day, we're collecting email addresses. Those email addresses are so precious to us because we know that if you put your email address in and trust us when you're watching a video, we can then send you another video or invite you to an event. YouTube didn't allow us to do that. Free services don't allow you to do that. And they don't give you the incredible metrics and the detailed level, granular level of what's going on with your content. I cannot recommend more highly Wistia if you're doing video for business. Now, if you're doing video because your cat fell off your TV or somebody bit somebody's finger or you had too much nitrous at the dentist, that is the free service by definition. However, if you are a grown-up building a business, use Wistia. That's all you need to know, okay? I don't want you getting me all excited now about this, but I love this product. Wistia.com/twist. Wistia.com/twist. Go sign up. No credit card required. The first videos are free. First 5 videos are free. And MailChimp uses it. Moz uses it. Blank Label. We use it. 50,000 people are using this. And it's like this company from the Northeast that just came out of nowhere and they took over business video. This is the product you use for business video. It works. You're going to collect a ton of emails, and they just keep adding features every month, including some ones I got to brief my team on, which are really going to help us, like with annotations and clicking off the video to do things that you want to do, as opposed to what the other person has in mind, who's providing you with a free service. Anyway, Wistia, Wistia. Wistia. Wistia is incredible. All right, let's get back to this very important program. All right, everybody, welcome back to This Week in Startups. It's your boy, Jason Calacanis here. You can follow me on the Twitter at Jason. Follow the show at TWI Startups. And go to the website, thisweekinstartups.com, and watch our beautiful, high-resolution, gorgeous videos with, speaking of a great product, with Wistia. And sign up for the email, and we'll send you email updates on the show and who's going to be on at thisweekinstartups.com with our another amazing product, MailChimp. And we'll redesign the site in InVision, and I'll listen to some Audible books.
We use MailChimp as well, so
isn't it amazing?
It's great.
I mean, just think about great product design. What do you love?
Well, my favorite part is when you hit that submit button, when you send that email out, it does a little animation of like the monkey doing the thing. It's great. It's delightful.
They're designing with some emotion. This is a key part of design today, do you think? Like having a little emotion, or do you come from the school of like just Spartan clean like your site is, or do you think it's cool to have fun? Because I noticed after I signed up, it did that nice like little fade in, with a little bit of character asking you for a little bit more about yourself. So what do you think about that designing with emotion type stuff?
For certain products like MailChimp, it works really well. It's a competitive advantage, or how they compete in the market is by delighting users. And so it's that little animation, it's the copy, like the little chimp has like a fun little there you go. I haven't heard that in a while.
I haven't heard that in a while.
I know. It's
well,
good.
you know what? I think they're promoting mandrill right now, so I don't get to.
Oh, what is a mandrill?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to come up with a mandrill sound.
I don't know.
They have to come up with it. They can tell me what a mandrill does, and I'll try to make the sound. Hopefully, go ahead.
For some products, for some categories, it makes sense. If you're building like maybe something in the healthcare space, maybe it needs to be more serious. So for Producthunt, it's very minimal. It's very clean, and I really try and make the community is the character. I guess if that makes sense. So
having all those little circles with their avatars in it, like that's kind of what speaks, right?
Yes.
So before we went to the cliffhanging question, my God, what is it in your mind as becoming the expert and the curator of product? You're becoming the product curator. It's great. I think it's a great role for you. What do you think makes great product? When you look across these, what is it that resonates with these product people about other people's products that makes them want to post it and comment on it?
Yeah. So Producthunt, the context of Producthunt is different than at a macro level, but it is representative of what people should be thinking about. So what I'm getting at is it needs to be very simple and clear on what your product does. Mm-hmm. So when you look at that name of the product and you look at the tagline, if it's not clear, like it doesn't have some context or you don't understand what it's for, then no one's going to click through. And the same thing on your landing page. If it's trying to communicate too many things or you don't know who this product is it for developers, marketers, my mom, then people just bounce. So I guess what people need to do right now, especially when there's so many products in this world, is figure out how do you communicate simply and clearly and what your product does. And
who's really good at that? I mean, is that just putting a sentence or naming it properly, like inside the top curated news for you from the best sources?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I say these things to people. We say it in the app, but it's still not clear to people because people are so busy and they seem like blind to so much. Like, how do you actually? Because it seems simple, like, oh, well, just be clear about what your value prop is. But even when you have a clear value proposition, which I like to think we have, it still seems like people don't understand it.
Well, you're too close to it sometimes. So it's getting feedback and going back to InVision and those mock-ups. I was so close to this new design we were working on, and I didn't see all these other errors, these other interpretations of what this meant. In fact, we even changed our tagline recently. It was a daily leaderboard of the best new products is what it was before. And we got some feedback from someone, and it was like the leaderboard aspect is like it brings up this like competitive kind of nature, and Producthunt ultimately is like kind of more of a I don't want to sound cheesy, but it's more like a celebration of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's not like number 3 beat number 5.
Yeah, it's
and
not
they
like
all got crushed by number 1 and 2.
And these products, like they're not in the same category. They're not competing. Like
caffeine is like a little tiny thing you put in your taskbar on max to keep it from going into sleep mode, and it's number 1.
Yeah,
it's like it's 10 years old or whatever. It's the simplest free app in the world.
Yeah.
It can't hold a candle to the new iOS.
Yeah.
From SoundCloud iOS version. Like, obviously these things are not heads up.
Yeah, exactly. So leaderboard just didn't really make sense.
So you just say the best new products?
The best new products every day is
perfect.
What we're calling it. So I think
it's the everyday because
every day because we
want people to come back.
Yeah, we want people to come back. I mean, the entire design of Producthunt is around habit formation.
I'm going to steal that. The best news. The best news.
The best news every day?
The best news every day. There you go. I'll just steal that. No, it is like it's almost like something weird happened where adding features and adding functionality has now resulted in less growth than putting more effort into things. And I think Instagram was really the first one to actually have this experience, and maybe Twitter, where you just sort of like rip out features and you're just like, what are you up to? Put in what you're doing. And then, that's it. Everybody sees what everybody else is up to in Twitter or Instagram. You see the latest photo and you heart it and you move on.
Yeah.
But how long can you sustain that? Because it does seem like Facebook became the largest in the world by adding every feature under the kitchen sink. It seems like Twitter is kind of suffering, and now as they add a bunch of features, they're starting to grow again.
Yeah.
And Instagram is now getting Snapchat envy, and Snapchat seems to be adding a bunch of features. So I'm getting a little bit, what's the term, like a little bit of dissonance, because you see Snapchat now releasing faster, Twitter releasing faster, Instagram and Facebook, and then there's also unbundling happening at the same time. So which is it? What is the right answer? Should people be ripping features out and making them into separate apps, or should they be making one big giant app, or should they be slowly adding features?
Yeah.
What should an entrepreneur do today?
I don't know. It's too contextual. I think it depends on who are you serving and what is the goal. And in some cases it might be disparate apps, and it's really fascinating to see what Facebook is doing with Slingshot and the other apps that they've tried.
Are they good at product? I mean, obviously they're good at growing to 1.4 billion people or whatever. But the Slingshot and Poke before it, what do you honestly think of those?
I respect it. Slingshot, there are things that I like about it. There's also things that I don't. And I like that they're experimenting and they're also doing it off-brand. It's not that it's the Facebook Slingshot app. I mean, it is, but it's not branded like that.
So you like this idea, the concept of just testing the waters. I mean, Facebook Paper is the other one. What do you think of that one?
I haven't really used it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion.
So who do you really respect then in the product space? Who do you look at and say, like, my God, if I could reach that level of app, web, hardware, whatever design, that would be great for me. I mean, obviously Apple's up there for hardware, but after Apple.
Yeah. In terms of a product or...
Interpret it as you will. I mean, a product, an app, software, anything.
I really am impressed with what Snapchat has done, actually.
Really?
So maybe a year and a half ago, I started using Snapchat, and that was back when it was just the one-to-many kind of basic. You send a photo, it disappears, and so on. And then they added stories. And I know it got a lot of heat, of course, whenever you
Explain what stories are.
So for stories, you, instead of sending a photo or a video specifically to one or many people, you add it to your story, and it's sort of a collection of photos or videos that expire after 24 hours. So anyone that's following you can see your story and sort of see this narrative of things you've taken throughout the day.
So this is the last 24 hours of your life, and it's ephemeral. I guess they can take a screenshot if they want to.
Yeah, and I think it still notifies them if you take a screenshot, but yeah. So they released stories, and I liked it a lot. One reason was because I had more and more friends on Snapchat, and I felt this compulsion to keep tapping everyone. But then it became so I got fatigued because I would tap everyone. I feel compelled to keep tapping everyone. So now I would just use stories because okay, I'm just gonna quickly throw this out. Made it a lot faster to use, and over time, that's how I interact with it primarily, is just doing stories and then seeing friends of mine's stories and.
Yeah, it's interesting. I logged in last night after not really using it for a long time, like years. Like I was on the first version, I tested it out. I was like, yeah, okay, this is dumb. Like I'm too old to be sending sex pictures and stuff like that, or whatever. The first use case was nudies or whatever.
Which is amazing press for them. I mean,
fantastic, right? Yeah, I mean, this is where you go to get naked pictures of people. No, your life's not that interesting.
I need to somehow replicate that for Producthunt, maybe.
Yeah, go to Producthunt, and you'll see naked pictures of the people who would never date you.
Yes.
These are people who have zero interest in you, and you get to see them naked now. But seriously, this is a company now that is actually maturing and actually adding these features. They're quite unique. I thought the story thing was very unique.
Yeah.
It was something that was different.
Yeah. It was still super fast. Snapchat is the fastest way to take a picture or video and send it to someone or record it. And in fact, one of my buddies, Jack, I remember he tweeted this a long time ago. He said, I need to record some phone number, and the fastest way to do it was open up Snapchat and take a picture of it, rather than opening up a notepad and typing it in.
Yeah, like Evernote or something, right?
Yeah. And
so time to photo is their innovation in some ways.
In part, yes. And
because when you open the app, it's in photo mode.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. So just taking that jump of you're here to take a picture.
Yeah, exactly.
And keep it going.
Yeah.
Which is why I think old people don't like it. I think it's a very young person's phenomenon. Like, old people
I
don't
don't know.
like
My mom uses it a little bit.
it. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
She sends you pictures of herself, like selfies, like, hey, I'm...
Every now and then, if I send her something, she'll respond with something goofy, and she'll doodle on it. And
That's hysterical.
yeah.
I got to get into
I have
it.
a
Like,
cool mom.
literally nobody I know uses Snapchat. Like, I have my Snapchat here. Like, literally I go in, and, like, I don't... Maybe it's just because I hang out with older people, but literally, like, I don't know anybody who uses Snapchat.
Really? Have you tried?
And I just went in and
chat?
started adding a bunch of people. Maybe it was because I didn't have a lot of people.
Have you tried Snapchat chat?
I haven't done that.
Do we have time to try and do it right now?
Sure, why
We
not?
do the video. What's your?
Oh, that's the one where you can, like, yeah, I'm Jason Calacanis on it, although, yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can.
No best friends, huh?
Jason Calacanis is the username.
My username is actually wrong. It's Calacanis, but instead of an I, it's got a J at the end. It's Jason M. Calacanis. I think somebody had stolen my name or something at some
Wait,
point.
it's Calacanis with a J in the end?
It's Jason M. Calacanis. Anyway, if you put my email in, you have my email. But anyway, I know what you're talking about. It's the video where you hold it and you can do
Yeah.
like live video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's like
It's-
more like FaceTime.
Yeah, it's pretty clever, and
So they
they're-
have 3 features now, really.
the other
Stories, sending a traditional Snapchat, and then there's this video thing where you hold the button and you move
Yeah.
yourself around on the screen.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They recently released the, what do they call it? Stories, but they're location based. So EDM was in Vegas last weekend.
Yes.
Did you see that at
I
all?
did see the little movie they made.
Yeah, yeah. So I
That was in the team section. Like you look at the team Snapchat and see what they're doing.
yeah. No, this one is, so it's a separate, another story, and you can actually follow it. You don't have to be in Vegas to
Right.
watch it. So I was watching it this weekend, just like watching a bunch of videos of people at EDM in Vegas partying, and it was kind of a cool experience. It was different. It's not something like I've seen before.
How do you get to that in Snapchat?
It was EDM Live was the username that you have to enter.
Ah.
So another thing about Snapchat is weird is that the UI and usability is very confusing. It's hard to understand how to use it.
How would you ever know to add
Yeah.
that unless maybe they're just trying to keep it subtle? So
Yeah.
I guess I would search for EDM Live.
Yeah. It's probably not up anymore because it expires after 24 hours.
Right, but you could watch what was going on there, and they would just add anybody who was in that vicinity.
Yeah.
So it was like Color. Remember Color.com,
yeah.
which was the
Yeah.
like cool. Color was the really cool.
And I saw your interview with
With
Peter. and
Peter,
Mike.
yeah, talking about how it fell, but they were so early to location-based social networking.
Yeah.
So, who else do you really like? What other things are you like sort of super obsessed with the design of, or what do people on the site
Yeah.
really get obsessive about?
So there, if I'm
Electric Daisy Carnival, yes, that's right.
yes. So there is a product that I'm semi.
It's EDC, not EDM, right?
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm not an EDM person, so that's why I don't
Yeah.
know that. There is an app that I love, and I love it for a couple of reasons. It's called Tap Talk. Have you heard of it?
Tap Talk?
Tap Talk.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
I may actually have heard of this. Tell me.
So Ono is the CEO founder of Tap Talk, and it's similar to Snapchat in that it's a very fast and easy way to communicate and send photos and video.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're looking at it, if you're looking at my phone right now,
Yep.
you have a row of different faces of people.
Yeah, those
that
are
I've
your
added.
peeps. Yeah.
And I can tap it and I can send them a photo, or I can just hold it down and I can start sending video. And what's beautiful about this is,
Oh, you pick the person, and the person is the record button.
yes, it's
Oh,
one
genius.
action. Yes. So
Wow.
the other key thing here is that it's one-to-one. So you cannot send the same photo or video to many people. It's explicitly to that person. And so it really is more personal than Snapchat. Oftentimes when you receive a photo, it's like, oh, you sent it to like 36 people.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I'm impressed with how fast it is and the subtleties of the animations and everything. It just feels good.
So, Android versus iOS versus the web. Where is most of the innovation happening? Because there was a bit of a snobbery about everything's on iOS, but now Android kind of catching up, and people
Yeah.
are starting to make a little money. If you're advising somebody who's creating a new app, would you advise them to do it on Android first, or advise them to do it on iOS first?
Most of the apps and products posted on Producthunt and most things that launch are still on iOS.
First.
Yes, first. And there is some talk, and there are people building Android first because you don't have to wait for App Store reviews. But that's decreasing in time. You're not having to wait like 2 weeks like you used to back in the day.
For an App Store approval.
Yeah,
It's like a
yeah.
week now.
Yeah, it's not as bad.
They
So-
gotta just pre-approve some people. It's just getting ridiculous with the App Store approval process. It's just, I don't know how they think this is going to become sustainable. I think what they should do is just let you pay a fee
To skip the line.
to skip the line. Like literally just let people pay $100 to skip the line so that people who are serious, like this is a serious business for me, can get same day approval for $100. And then they could pay more people to do professional approvals.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah. I don't know. And they are releasing an easier way to do beta testing. Another thing.
Yes,
with
they bought
that-
Test Flight.
Yes, which is a pain. It's always been a pain. Unless you have an enterprise license, it's
Yeah.
impossible to get betas.
I have
out
the
there.
enterprise license, but you're not
Yeah.
really supposed to use the enterprise license
Yeah.
for,
Right.
technically on Apple, if you're not supposed to use the enterprise license for anything other than enterprise. So if you were to do a beta in there, they'd have to all be like employees technically of your company or something like that. So I don't even know. Yeah. What did you think of WWDC this time around and what they're doing, HealthBook and iOS 8? Did you
Yeah.
follow all that? And what was people's reaction to it?
Swift blew people's mind, I think. I mean, on Producthunt on that day.
Explain what Swift is, yeah.
So Swift is new programming language. I won't go into the details because I'm not an engineer on the specifics of it, but it's just how do you, if you just think about it this way, how can you make it easier to build things? And if you can make it 10% easier to learn how to code or to build a new app, that's like a huge, remarkable like shift in transformation in the startup world because you can give people more access. You can make it faster. It ultimately has like an exponential increase in productivity.
Right. So that day on Producthunt, people went crazy.
People were loving Swift. The following day, there were Swift guides and collections of resources on how to learn Swift and things like that. So there's a lot of interest in that. And then there's also iOS 8, which I have not done a full deep dive personally, but I'm particularly interested in how do you, now you can finally interact with push notifications. Like it's kind of absurd. It's absurd that I have to look at my phone, open up an app, unlock my phone to then just reply to a text message. Like I should be able to do that without doing all that.
Yeah, but if it's locked, you may not want to. But so what do you think the case will be for interactions? Like I get an alert from inside, there's a news story. What should I do as the interaction? Should I tell people like more or what?
Yeah, I mean, you might want to, it could be, from an email perspective, it could be reply to an email, it could be mark like archive. If it's a yo, if you want to yo someone, maybe you can yo it from your push notification. You can yo them back.
Right, and not open the app.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't know. It's what I love about changes like this is you have so many creative people that can now experiment and they'll come up with some cool stuff that I'll never think of, I'm sure.
Now, what about Android? We just had Android's, big I/O day.
Yeah.
And they launched, I guess, cars and watches and something else. TV.
Cardboard, virtual reality.
What was the cardboard thing? I saw
like-
people playing with that. Is that just some big FU to Oculus Rift or something?
I actually did not look into it much, but
It's called Android Cardboard or something? Pull that up.
Yeah. It has a really cool landing page. It's got that.
Oh, does it really? And it turns your Android device into, and they're not joking about this. Like
it's a real thing.
It's literally a real thing. You get a cardboard device, and you put your Android phone in it, and then it turns it into low-cost virtual reality. And it actually works, from what I understand.
So,
People I know have used it and said it worked.
I haven't played with it yet. Yesterday's Google I/O was very developer-focused. It wasn't quite as exciting, I think, as Apple's, just because it wasn't really focused on the consumer sexy stuff that you don't really see there.
Yeah. Look at, here's the landing
there you go.
page.
When you scroll down, it's pretty rad.
Oh, wow, look at it, just builds it.
There you go.
Wow. That is nuts, though. You have to admit, that is just nuts. So this is like, okay, Oculus Rift. We re-engineered Oculus Rift, and we realized all it is, but they have other things in Oculus Rift, but this is pretty funny. Do you think this virtual reality stuff is going to like actually have some sustainable application in our lives, or is this just another virtual reality, like
another virtual boy?
A virtual boy.
Virtual boy,
yeah. It just seems like every time this is like a false start. Nobody ever wants to put goggles on their face and look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Is it going to work this time with Oculus Rift?
I used to be big into video games. Dad owned a video game store, so I got to play with all of them. Mm-hmm. Then college hit and started, not really getting into video games at all. I don't play anymore, but I can see myself getting back into it just because it's a whole new experience. If they can get to the point where it is immersive and you don't get nauseous, and you can now have this totally new experience that you're not getting elsewhere, I think the gaming application is the most exciting for me. That said, there's also plenty of other applications, I'm sure, like in terms of e-commerce, like. I don't know. Maybe it's gimmicky, but how could you go shopping from your computer with Oculus Rift?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, do I want to walk around a mall? Like, I kind of like the layout of an Amazon page.
Yeah,
I know how to
yeah.
get what information I need to make a decision. What am I going to see in 3D when I'm buying a sous vide machine or a pair of
Yeah.
socks? I'm trying to think of that's why I keep trying to think of the use case.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like 3D glasses at the movies. Like, they added it so they could charge everybody $3 or $4, but I've
Yeah.
yet to see a film where I felt
I prefer 2D.
I specifically do the same thing. I
Yeah.
go to I think the whole thing's a big, huge scam.
Yeah.
It's a giant scam. There's no film that's better in 3D than not. Everybody's like, oh, Gravity's better in 3D. I saw it. It was like, I don't think it's...
It's dim. I don't
Yeah.
know, it's-
Gravity, I know. Everybody says. It was... Listen, I think Gravity was an interesting film, but...
It
know.
was good. It was good.
I don't know. Toy Story 3, really? I don't know. I'm disagreeing with the control room. Sorry. No effing way. All right, well, let's talk about wearables then. The iWatch is coming. People are very excited about this. Obviously, it's coming very soon because it's like now we're seeing the leaks increase, like how many they're going to sell, the price point, all this kind of stuff. What's your expectation of the watch and what impact it will have? Because Pebble and Samsung's Galaxy Gear, two interesting in their own way products, seem to have not reached any kind of
They haven't
adoption.
broken into the mainstream. Yeah.
Not even close. Like,
Yeah.
not even in San Francisco do you see many people
Yeah.
wearing them yet.
Yeah.
Is Apple going to figure it out?
You know, Apple's in a position where they have the opportunity to market it and make something sexy that, you know, the mainstream consumers will buy, and they have the distribution for it. What I find fascinating about wearables and, let's say, the iWatch in particular is that this sounds like, I don't know, this sounds bad, but to pull out your phone and look at your phone and unlock it is a lot of work. And to do that...
Absolutely it is.
And we still do it.
200 times a day?
Exactly, and I do it all the time. But to twist my wrist like this and look at my watch and interact with something, now what does that do? That makes us now use technology even more than we are today, which is kind of absurd how much we're using it. But it makes it even more habit-forming or more addictive potentially because it's just so easy. There's no friction in interacting with this technology. And when we have so many different applications and things notifying us, it's at a sort of like how does that change behavior ultimately? How does it change the way we interact with each other?
I do think it will affect like Run P in a big way because
Yes.
you'll be in the film. Literally, you're going to be in like, you know, X-Men, Days of Future Past, and you're going to look at your watch, and it's going to be like showing you like a map of like, in 3 minutes and 42 seconds is the perfect time to take a pee, and then you're gonna be like running downstairs, and it's like, you better get done quick because it's gonna be like the big scene with Magneto.
It'll be on Producthunt too. It'll be the iWatch integration Run P.
I really love the idea of notifications going to your watch.
Yeah.
That's gonna be miraculous. Like if I can start getting my SMS there, and if
Yeah.
I can, send inside news alerts to it, or like if somebody posts to Producthunt and your Hunter walk, and he's just like, oh look, boom, 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 you know, like
Upvote, yeah, I like that.
upvote, downvote, right? Because there's going to be 4 buttons, like on the Spaces Watch, there's 4 little buttons. Like if it's got either buttons or a touch screen or whatever. Now, do you think it's going to be more like a bangle or a full screen or multiple screen sizes from Apple? What does your gut tell you?
I don't know. I kind of ignore the rumors, honestly. You'd think I'd follow it, but it'll probably look awesome. It'll look awesome right now, and then a year later it'll look like a piece of shit because that's what Apple does.
Yeah. And what do you think the impact is of like sort of some of the Chinese and Asian sites and the apps? Because obviously they got ahead of us with things like stickers and Line and some of these really interesting services over there that you see, like Dave Morin putting stuff into Path and other things. Like there's like a really interesting something going on there in terms of creativity and making products that's starting to make its way over here.
Yeah.
Do you see them coming up on Producthunt where people are like, hey, check out this thing from Naver?
Yeah.
Try this thing from Daum?
I mean, we see all kinds of things, and also Producthunt, I think about 55% of the audience is in the U.S., so it's very much global. There's a lot of people in Canada, Europe.
55% are non-U.S.
55% are in the U.S.
In the U.S., so 45.
There's a significant number of people outside
soon
of
it will
this
be
area.
more, sure.
Yeah, and so we do see a variety of things from, outside of the Bay Area where we see a lot of new launches and things like that. I do find it interesting to see how U.S. companies are applying what Asian companies and Asian startups have been doing for a while, and like to your point, stickers and those kind of things.
Yeah.
It doesn't always translate over just because our cultures are so different, but there's definitely some learnings there.
All right, well, listen, this has been fascinating. Everybody go now to Product Hunt, follow @Product Hunt on Twitter, put your email address in, And Ryan, thanks for including me in the round. Unbelievable. I know the guy for 4 years. If I hits gold, and Jake Howe doesn't even get a call. Oh my God, I'm being blocked out by other investors. I'm dying now. This is it. I mean, this is really like I should have called you 2 weeks ago. I mean, it was like getting big. But anyway, this will be another round at some point. Listen, congratulations to Ryan Hoover, longtime fan, most importantly, of This Week in Startups.
This is awesome. This is, again, been watching since episode 1.
It's a little kind of surreal, like to grow up on the show and then be on it.
Yeah,
because it happened a couple times now where we had people who have like come up as entrepreneurs watching the show, and then they wind up on it.
Yeah, that's
so like
awesome.
we literally had DigitalOcean on. One of the guys for DigitalOcean was an Ask Jason caller, and he's like, "What should I do in my life? What should I?" And I was like, "Oh, you should join an incubator, fund the best company, and then be their BD guy or whatever marketing guy." And he joined DigitalOcean at Techstars.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, go to like Techstars or something, and like, or like Y Combinator, hang out and find somebody who's got a great idea, and then just jump on a rocket."
Yeah.
Jumps on DigitalOcean, jumps on a rocket, comes on the show, whatever, a number of years later, and
oh yeah, that was like last month, 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was like a month or two ago, and it was
Yeah.
just like, wow, this is really interesting. We played the episode. Like nobody looks at the archives of This Week in Startups except for the fans.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things I want to do as a project next year is to start look at year one, and start taking year one and like taking like specific things and say like, hey, in year one we had this said, and this is what happened. So like pulling from the archives. Hey, Jackie, can you make a note of that? Like let's just call it year one, and then looking back on year one, who was on the program, what did they talk about, and how prescient was it or not. Would be super fantastic.
Go back to your startup pitches too. Where are those people at?
Where are those people at? Yeah.
You should do more of those too. I've not seen those in a while.
I haven't done startup pitches in a while. We should do that. I think what's happening is there's so much good stuff that's sort of going to the next level.
Yeah.
Like your stuff is like, if you pitched it as a product thing, it would be kind of like, okay, yeah, maybe it's Reddit for products. But then when you see the success, and I can talk to you about the success and metrics. So it's almost like what happened with angel investing. It used to be like, what's your idea? Here's some money. Now it's like, okay, where's your product and how many people, what kind of traction you have? Okay, now you get money. Like everything's moved up a level, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit.
But it's also been easier. It's easier and easier to build right now than it used to be. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then to build across 5 or 6 platforms is harder.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's easier to get started, and now like you're like, oh, should we build an Android app? Yeah, that'll be 3 months.
Yeah.
And $100,000. Oh, you want to build the iOS one? Yeah, 200,000, 3 or 4 months. Oh, you want to do Windows, BlackBerry, whatever. It's like mobile web. I mean, everything just becomes. It's kind of maddening now that you have to build 5 versions of your product.
Yeah, yeah. We're starting with iOS, so.
5 versions of every product. I mean, look at Evernote. They're on everything. They're on Windows. They're on
Everywhere.
BlackBerry. I mean, they do
I
every
think
single
Netflix.
platform.
Netflix is even more. I mean, it's an Xbox. It's.
Can you imagine? There's like a team there that does Xbox. There's a team there that's doing Roku. There's a team there doing this. Every single platform that comes out, and there must be 100 platforms they're on.
Yeah.
They must have like thousands, maybe hundreds of developers just to normalize for platforms. When if everybody just used the goddamn HTML5 web, you wouldn't have to do everything. Everybody feels they have to have a native platform.
Yeah.
It's got to stop at some point. I think, don't you think? It's diluting the web.
I don't know. There's always going to be some new platform, some new operating system, some new programming language.
But the thing is, we spent 15 years of not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't remember because you weren't involved in like sort of the first 10 years of the web. The first 10 years of the web was like, that's it. You just do it on the web.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, maybe there's some tweaks to IE. Like Internet Explorer tried to put in like some, special hooks that, what do they call it? ActiveX and stuff. They had like special hooks to do things that you can only do in the browser. And then people were like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Let's do Flash or Java. But generally speaking, it was just web-based.
Yeah.
And now it's just like everybody's got to do every platform. It's just brutal. All right, listen, Ryan, continued success. Congratulations. What a heck of a 6 or 7 months you've had. It's awesome to see a fellow founder and member of the This Week in Startups family absolutely crush it. Go follow R.R. Hoover. He's a great tweeter and also Producthunt. Just seriously awesome. I'm so happy for you. And
Thanks.
we'll see you next time on This Week in Startups. Bye-bye.